we are going to see how a trend is going to emerge after the prices are coiling into a consolidation, and then a potential trend could emerge from that. So here, what are we going to do? We are going to take into consideration not only the CPR, but we are also going to place on your chart. Okay, we are also going to place on your chart something called as ADX DI histogram. So now what I'll be doing is I will be opening up the chart. All right. Along with the CPR, we will also add a additional filter, and that additional filter is called as ADX DI histogram. So let me put on the chart here. Just put on the chart here. So this is my chart here. Let me bring on the chart. Hold on. Is my chart visible to everyone? Okay. I am going to change the time frame to a weekly. Okay. I'm going to put on weekly. I'm going to use the pivots, and I'm going to go in for a 30-minute chart or a 15-minute chart. All right. Now, what I will do is I will change the CPR setting to show the weekly pivots. Okay. I'm only using the weekly pivots. Okay. I'm only using the weekly pivots. All right. And I'm going to turn on my weekly. All my weekly parameters I am turning on. Please note, I am turning on all my weekly parameters. Let's all do it together. I have changed this from Fibonacci daily to Fibonacci weekly. Let's all do this together so that all of us are clear. Did everyone get till here? Can you all give me a confirmation? I have changed the setting to weekly. I have gone to my CPR. I have unchecked the daily and put on the weekly. Then I go to style and I checkbox the weekly TC, BC and pivot point. So if you see now, the entire CPR plus FIB structure is spread across the week. What about the others? Don't worry. Go at it slowly. You can review it again. You will get idea on how to do this. I am going into the Fibonacci structure and I am saying the pivot time frame is weekly. I have converted my chart into a 15-minute chart. I have made this Fibonacci weekly. Then on my CPR, I have ticked show weekly pivots and I have in the style section selected weekly TC, weekly PP, which is pivot point, and weekly BC. Now when I do OK, I get this structure which is spread across the entire week. All right. So now coming to the concept of NR7, what are we going to see? We are going to see whether this particular pivot, okay, this particular pivot, is it the thinnest compared to the last 7 trading sessions. Franklin Ochoa has found that 7 trading sessions are enough for us to concur. So in this, there is an indicator called developing central pivot range. So you can take by GSY, developing CPR, there is something called as developing CPR. I'll again mention it. It's called developing CPR. I'll write here. As you can see here, developing CPR. What am I doing here now? I'll go to the setting and just a moment. Okay. You could try this one. Okay. So what is developing CPR? Let me just give you some idea about that. Developing CPR refers to what is the probable CPR which is developing for the next week. Okay. So if you see here now, okay, if you see here now, the CPR which is seen here, can everyone see this? The one in yellow is the developing CPR. Can everyone see the developing CPR? Please use the second one. So developing CPR means the one which is developing. So at the end of the one trading week, you will not be able to see what is the CPR for the next week. So for that, this developing CPR will help you. So go for this developing CPR by Sharewind. So after you put it on your chart, go to the setting and make it to a visible color. And in input, you select week. Input, you select week, and then in the style, go and change the color so that it is visible. Now you will see here that the CPR above with the purple one is the one which has happened for the current week. Now this particular CPR which is there in yellow color is the one which is being developed right now. So this is the CPR which will emerge for the next week. How many of you got this? Please type CPRW. Please type CPRW. Now what are we going to do with this CPR? So basically, you will compare this CPR, the latest CPR, you will compare it with the all the other CPR. So latest CPR will be the ones in yellow, and the other ones will be in your purple color. Clear? Good to see that many of you have got it. Don't worry, it's a simple concept. You will go through this recording again and again. You will get it, and we will be demonstrating it to you again and again. It will be simplified. So you can see here now, this CPR is the narrowest in the last 7. Is it the narrowest in the last 7 trading sessions? Then that is the one which you can track. Okay, clear till here? Purple is the one for the current week. Yellow is the one for the forthcoming week. Okay, so you will compare the purple with, you will compare the yellow with all the purple ones. So 7 means including this week. So last 7 trading sessions or last 7 trading weeks will be compared. So yellow will be compared with the last 7 trading weeks. All right. So this is as far as the CPR is concerned. Now again, going back to the strategy. Okay, what are we going to do? We are going to use identification, confirmation, execution. Our philosophy we are going to apply. What are we going to do? We are going to use the concept of ADX. Okay, we are going to use the concept of ADX. So let's once again go back into ADX. Go again to your indicator and put on the ADX and DI histogram. Okay, put on the ADX and DI histogram. And you can see here that again, I will go to the settings. I'll go to the settings and I will go to the ADX. ADX is black in color. I will convert it into white and I will thicken the color. So now, after thickening the color, okay, in the ADX value, there is a threshold. Threshold means above which the ADX will be considered as strong. So ADX represents the strength of the trend. ADX represents the strength of the trend. That I am going to set it at 20. Okay, that I'm going to set it at 20. Okay. Now once I set it at 20, so once I set it at 20, I will again go back. So let me go to the settings again. The threshold level, I am setting it at 20. And I'm going to the style and I am making ADX more visible. It was black in color. I have made it white. How many of you have finished the ADX? Please type ADX. So we are having the CPR setup on the higher time frame. So this is for a positional trade. And we are going for a ADX setup. What about the others? Okay, great. So we have got everything set up now. All right. So as far as our structure is concerned, it is done. Now let's again go back to the understanding. What are we doing? We are taking all the weekly. तो हमारा पूरा हायर टाइम फ्रेम पे सेट हो गया. अभी एग्जीक्यूशन के लिए we are going to a 15-minute chart. Okay. For execution, we are going to a 15-minute chart. And why am I going to a 15-minute chart? Because weekly में तो सब देख लिया है. Weekly का parameter satisfy हो गया है. अभी उसके बाद then all I'll be doing is I am going to use the concept of Camarilla pivot. Okay, I'm going to use the concept of Camarilla pivot and I am going to plot it on my chart. So now to put on Camarilla pivot, okay, I'll put on my Camarilla pivot now. You can see here, this is my Camarilla pivot. So Camarilla pivot, again, I will go and set it on my weekly. All right, I'll set it on my weekly. So this is for a multi-day, multi-week trade. Okay, so you can see here that I have my ADX, I have my CPR, plus I have got my Camarilla. So now I will explain to you the role of each of them. So you have got the Camarilla pivots, you have got the CPR, you have got the ADX DI. Now the ADX, okay, we are going to take the help of ADX. All right, concentrate on what I am saying. Now the Camarilla levels are going to be given with the help of Camarilla. Camarilla will give you the levels for participation. The NR7, okay, the narrowest CPR in the last 7 weeks will give you the tracking candidates. Now, once those candidates are available, how will you track and move it to the trade list? The ones which are where the ADX is crossing 20. Okay, when the ADX crosses 20, that is when it will come into your trading list. And then using the Camarilla, you will have the levels to trade. Got it? That's how you will participate on a multi-day basis. So let's go here and check them out. Confirmation, wait for ADX to cross 20. Okay, that's when you will get the confirmation. When the ADX crosses 20, you will get the confirmation on a 15-minute chart. क्योंकि बाकी सब वीकली पैरामीटर्स ले लिए आपने, उसके बाद 15 minutes में क्रॉस हो गया, it's enough. Then you can get started, right? We don't have to keep on going to higher time frame because it will delay the process of entry and participation. Now wait for the prices to cross above weekly H3, weekly H3 and weekly L3 sell, H3 by L3 sell. So again, I'll bring on the chart here, open the chart in the Camarilla, for example. Okay, in the Camarilla, remove your S1, S2, R1, R2. We don't need it. Can you all do that and confirm? Just write done on the chat. Just remove S1, S2. We don't need this. Okay. Right. Now, having done that, okay, now having done that, once the trade moves above R3 or below S3, it is a trade possibility. Now, what are your targets? R4, okay. Once it moves higher, then your higher levels. What are your higher levels? Your higher levels are, okay, your R4 and R5. Then you have got R6 as well. All right. Now, in the same way, if it goes below S4, S5 and S6. So there are multiple levels of trade. You can keep on getting more and more levels. So I will talk to you about that. But now when you take a look at this setup, what emerges is you are going to look at a narrow CPR. You're going to look at a narrow CPR. Got it? So let's check out some examples. You will get some idea. Now, what do we do first? We just check for the narrowest CPR in the last 7 trading sessions. Now, once you do that, the next step is you will wait for the ADX to cross 20. Once you do that, you wait for the prices to cross above H3. Okay, you cross above H3, and then once it crosses H3, you can start getting ready, and your target will be your H5 and H6, right? Your H5 and H6. Now, when you want to go on the short side, your stop loss will always be below the CPR. Or if you are feeling that the CPR stop loss is lower, okay, CPR stop loss is lower, then you can move the stop loss to below H3, okay, below H3, right? So in Fibonacci, you have got R1, R2, R3. In Camarilla, you have got H1, H2, H3. So what we are going to do is we are going to refer to HL levels as part of Camarilla. We are going to refer to RS levels as part of Fibonacci. Okay, so that's how we are going to divide. That's how we are going to divide so that we can get clear idea. When you're talking about H4, it is Camarilla. When I'm talking about R1, it is your Fibonacci. So now you have got your levels here H4. Okay, we have got your H4 levels here. Okay, we have got our H4 levels. What happens is when the prices crosses H4, you should also have a confirmation from the ADX. When prices crosses H4, your price should also cross, your ADX should also cross 20. So when an ADX crosses 20, it does not mean bearish or bullish. It only means that the trend which is there, it is very strong. That's what is the identification you want from when the ADX is crossing 20. Okay. Now in the same way, on the way down, when it crosses L3, then you know that yes, I can enter a trade. My L5 and L6 are my target. The same way, my H5 and H6 are my target. Everyone clear till here? This is a buy and sell. Okay, this is a buy and sell. What are we doing? We are using the Camarilla. Okay, we are using the Camarilla and we are setting the levels. We are using the Camarilla and we are setting the levels. Why are we doing that? Because we are wanting to set the right kind of levels. So let me again go back to the Camarilla setup. Okay, let me again go back to the Camarilla setup. What you could do is you could remove this Camarilla. I'll give you Camarilla with more levels. Go back to your indicator and please type Camarilla. Okay, and select the Camarilla by Ganesh04. Please select Camarilla by Ganesh04. Okay, when you select Camarilla by Ganesh04, can you all do that? Have you selected this Camarilla? Please type CAM on the chat. All right. So once you go to the settings, okay, once you go to the settings, you could click on the weekly pivots. Okay, once you click on the weekly pivots, you will have here multiple levels here, okay, which will be your 3, 4, 5, 6. How many of you have got this? Give me a thumbs up. Go here and you can play along with the levels. You can see here there is daily and there is weekly. Just go and change the colors to your choice. So you'll have your H4, H5, H6, H3, H4, 3, 4, 5, 6. H3, 4, 5, 6, L3, 4, 5, 6 will be available here. All right. Okay. So you could use this one. Now again, let me go back to the examples. Again, You wait for a move below L3. The moment it happens, you can take your position. Okay, that's how you got to participate. Below L3, I engage in a sell. Above L3, above H3, I engage in a buy. What are my target zones? H5, H6, L5, L6. How many of you have got this? You can see here that this trade continues for multiple days. The trade comes here. Your stop losses are below the CPR. You engage in this trade. And then you can trail your stop loss. And then you can trail your stop loss. Again, take here, take the entry, and then you can trail your stop loss. The advantage when you use a CPR is that it is already having those levels. Put on that CPR, put on that Camarilla. I'll again repeat, put on the Camarilla, go to the settings, and then checkbox the show weekly pivots. And then in the style, you have got your weekly H5, H6. You can change the color combination. So, Camarilla by Ganesh04. Select that. You will be able to get the similar plot. Again, the moment it crosses H3, you can participate for a target of H5 and H6. You can see here, there is a multi-day trade possibility. And once it reaches your H5, L5 or L6, you should book your profits. So what is happening here? You are identifying the narrowest CPR in the last 7 trading sessions. After that, you are shortlisting those candidates, and then you are participating in those names. Okay. Let me just show you an example here. Let's just put on some name. Okay. You can see here that in this stock. Okay, let me invite some. So I've got this name here. All right. So as per the name given, Amara Raja battery, right? What is the scenario? Let us first check the CPR. Is the CPR the narrowest in the last 7 trading sessions? Is the CPR the narrowest in the last 7 trading sessions? Let's go step by step. Amara Raja. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No. No, right? It's not the narrowest. Okay. Now I move to Maruti. Is it the narrowest in the last 7 trading sessions? No. Somebody is typing here KEI. Is it the narrowest in the last 7 trading sessions? You have to compare the yellow with the others. So this seems to be narrowest in the last 7 trading sessions. So now, for example, if you take a look at KEI, it's the narrowest in the last 7 trading sessions. The yellow one. You're comparing the yellow with the purple. Now, this is a tick mark. Okay. Now, is ADX about 20? All of you, please concentrate. You will get the idea. ADX is about 20. So that's a tick mark. Now I put on the Camarilla. So of course the next Camarilla is not plotted. So once the prices moves above your H3, and that is when you can start participating. Right? That is when you can start participating. And that's what will make it easier for you. Okay, that's what will make it easier for you to participate. So you have to go through a list of stocks. You have to first shortlist your stocks, and then you have to decide, okay, the overall setup is good. So how will you know whether the overall setup is good? If a overall weekly setup is positive, you will first put on your tracking list, and from there you can decide what kind of trade is emerging, because that makes it very easier for you. Okay, someone is typing here IRB. Okay. So this is IRB. This is the narrowest in the last 7 trading sessions. It looks like. So IRB is one, KEI is one. So we will track it in the coming week. Infosys is Infi the narrowest in the last 7 trading sessions. This and this looks similar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This was narrower than everyone. Bandhan Bank. Yeah. Good one. Good one on Bandhan Bank. Bandhan Bank is narrower since last 7 trading sessions. Up. Other than that, you can see here that the ADX is about 20. So you can look to see whether there a trend can emerge in this stock. Dr. Reddy. Dr. Reddy, there was a narrow here. This is slightly more than that. So Dr. Reddy is not the narrowest in the last 7 trading sessions. So this way you can just check out if it is narrow. Then if it is narrowest in the last 7 trading sessions, those candidates are the best candidates for this trade. Now, just imagine that it is not narrowest in the last 7 trading sessions. So I also have a plan B. And the plan B is at least it should be a narrow CPR. Okay, that's the next best scenario. Now, that will be your grade 2 kind of a trade. This is your level 1 trade, the narrowest in the last 7 weeks. Otherwise, at least the weekly CPR should be narrow. How many of you got this? At least the weekly CPR should be narrow. Then at least you will get some kind of a move. Now, the narrowest in the last 7 weeks would be the best kind of trades. Now, in case you are not able to get, you can at least go for a weekly narrow CPR, in which you'll have to take quick action. And if the trend is really good, then you will get a very good move. So that will be your grade 2 type of stock. Grade 1 is a narrow 7 trade, and grade 2 is a weekly narrow trade. All right. I hope all of you have got some understanding. We will need to practice it, and only through practice you will be able to get a very good idea of what we really need to do and how we really need to do, because it's not going to be easy, because it is something which I have designed it. I have incorporated important elements to make it easier for you to filter down the trades.